Our brain is active all the time, trying to infer things about the world. What is this world? What is going on here? And it's using relevant cues, but also irrelevant cues. And once it gets these cues, it uses them to interpret the world. Our perception of value is dramatically subjective. It comes from lots of things from the environment. Neoclassical economics has a very simple answer. Something's value is whatever people are willing to pay for it. But the deeper question of what value is much more complex. One of the experiments we did on purchases was to sell people coffee. We had the regular condiments, milk and sugar and cream and so on. But we also had these 6 condiments that nobody ever uses. Lemon peel and cardamom and stuff like that. And sometimes we put these condiments in a beautiful metal and glass containers with a little spoon and so on. And sometimes they were in styrofoam cups, kind of torn. We wrote it in a felt tip pen, really ugly. And now the question is, do these things that were on the side that nobody ever used influence the perception of how good the coffee was? The answer was absolutely yes. And they also influence how much people are willing to pay. They're willing to pay about twice as much. I have a friend who's an expert in wine. We continuously have this discussion about what's the right way to figure out the value of wine. If you do blind tasting of wine, you taste the wine, you have no idea about it, it turns out the correlation between price and quality is basically 0. More expensive wine is not perceived as better quality than cheaper wine. When you know the price, now it does have a positive correlation because your expectation that this wine is going to get better actually changes the way you experience it and therefore change the value. So it's actually very difficult to think about what is the value of something.
We fight a lot about the role of profit and its primacy in business. Profit's a healthy thing. Profit is a metric of sustainability. Without being profitable, we don't get to be here. But there has also arisen this false equality around profit. A couple years ago, a couple Harvard Business School professors wrote an article called Creating Shared Value. What they said was, there's a new way of thinking about how businesses can serve. Philanthropy is the old way. Philanthropy is sharing wealth that's already been created. But a better way is to create wealth by serving. And so in creating shared value, you then have to say, well, that's interesting because now we're going to create a profitable business that does good. And they coined a phrase that I just love. They said all profits are not created equal. Those that carry a social benefit are better. So let's stop arguing about this. Because if you're an investor, why wouldn't you invest in a company that returns adequate reward to you, but also does good? If you're a government, why wouldn't you favor those businesses? Why wouldn't you look for businesses that do good in addition to making a profit? And then here's the rub. If you're a business leader and you're competing for capital, why wouldn't you choose a business model that does good in addition to rewarding shareholders? Because you yourself will be rewarded. And so now all of a sudden we've just changed the incentives completely. All profits are not created equal. Let's be honest about that. Those that carry a social benefit are better.